I think I'm finally done defending Xbox, bro. So the Series X console came out around 2020, and of course it's been struggling to sell ever since, but the craziest thing is, right now they're increasing the price, and it's nearly hitting 800 Australian dollars, which is so insane to me. That's almost the price of a new PC. And then of course the other thing that Xbox is pushing is Games Pass, and that will set you back $25 a month also. And man, the console's been out for 5 years, and I feel like we haven't really had any major exclusives, like no momentum. All that's really happened is games getting re-released from older generations and now a price hike. Like, that's insane. So yeah, I'm officially done defending Xbox, like not in an angry, dramatic way. I'm not gonna throw my console out or anything like that, because to be honest, I have so much gamer score, man. That's probably only half the reason I've stuck with them for this long. Like, I've had the same account all these years, and as someone who's been with Xbox since the original Xbox days, like, I remember having that limited edition clear green Xbox that came with Halo 2, I think. That was super sick. Anyway, I've been playing since then, and I've devoted damn near all my early teen years to the Xbox 360. So yeah, I've spent years making excuses for them. Years saying like, yeah, Xbox will get better, just be patient. And you know, I was loyal. And back in the day, I was even defending the Xbox Live subscription model, when you could literally play multiplayer for free on the PS3. That's how devoted I was to Xbox. But at this point, man, my loyalty doesn't feel like it's being respected, and it feels like the Xbox we grew up with is gone. Even just talking about that price increase that just got announced, that's got to be one of the most tone-deaf moves I've ever seen in a long time. And like, this isn't a rumor, this is official. In Australia, it just went from $750 to $800. In Canada and parts of Europe, prices have also crept up, and this is just for the console itself. You know, this isn't a bundle. You don't get any extra games, extra controllers. You probably get like a free 2-week subscription to Xbox Games Pass, but even that will have auto recurring billing on, so you probably get stung with another $25 fee after the 2 weeks. And speaking of Games Pass, that has got way more expensive. I remember it used to be like $13 or something like that, and now it's doubled the price at like $25. So if we do the quick math, that's around like $250 a year. And the craziest part is $250 a year, that's probably the price you could get for an Xbox 360 back in the day with like 3 games with it. I'm talking brand new Xbox with brand new good games like Halo or Gears of War or anything like that. And the audacity to increase the price of the Xbox console when sales are doing terrible, like, that's insane to me. In 2024, PS5 sold over 21 million units, but Xbox barely cracked 7.5 million. So that's literally less than half the sales. So it really leaves me curious as to what exactly we're paying for. Like, when I think about the basic economics that I learned in like year 10 or something, supply and demand, like, that doesn't really work right here. I'm not too sure what's going on. And another thing is, there's been no mid-gen refresh. For example, like the PS5 Pro that just came out, that was sort of a mid-gen refresh for the PlayStation. Xbox hasn't had anything like that. Even when I think about the old days, like Xbox 360, they had the Xbox Arcade, they had the Xbox Elite, then they had the Xbox Slim, and if you want to go even deeper towards the end of the life, they brought out like an Xbox 360e or something like that. So that's 4 different inner generations of a console throughout its cycle. But with this Xbox Series X cycle, we've got absolutely nothing. Not even a slim version, because these Xboxes are so ridiculously fat. And I actually really do want to look back at how much Xbox used to give us value, especially towards the end of a console life. So like I mentioned before, at the end of the Xbox 360 cycle, you could get an Xbox 360 with like 4 good games from around $250 to $350. And it wasn't just any games. You were getting AAA titles, you know, like Halo 4, Gears 3, Forza, Tomb Raider, all those sort of games. Like, they weren't throwaway games. And the crazy thing is, it wasn't a one-off deal either. These type of bundles were very common in the Xbox 360's end of life. And again, comparing it to the Xbox Series X, we have nothing but the console itself for double the price. Even the Xbox One era, man, a lot of people hated the Xbox One, but it definitely still sold. Like, it didn't have the crazy success that 360 had, but Microsoft still managed to create some solid value for the customers. So around the time of like 2017, even later, the Xbox One S would come bundled with like 2 or 3 games for around like $350 Australian dollars, which is extremely cheap. By 2019, it'd be bundled with things like NBA or the new Star Wars games and be even cheaper. And then of course they brought out the Xbox One S with very similar deals. Like, it's a crazy contrast between the deals we have now with the Series X, and jumping up $50 in price just feels like an absolute spit in the face for those who stayed loyal. And this console does not justify the price hike at all. Like, the Xbox Series X is being sold at a premium for a console that doesn't even offer much more than what's available on PC or other platforms. And it really is just crazy to compare it to past generations. Even thinking about exclusives, man, at the same time that they announced the price hike, they just announced a Gears of War 1 remaster, which of course is one of Xbox 360's most iconic games. And it's not just for Xbox this time. It's coming to PlayStation 5, which is crazy. And I'll be honest though, I think that's actually a good thing. You know, I grew up on Gears of War, absolutely love that series, and it deserves to be played by more people. And especially if you've never played anything like it, it's such a treat. So I'm excited that PlayStation players get to play it. But yeah, man, if PlayStation players get to experience a game like this, it's a win for the game itself, not Xbox, not the studio that made it. Like, it's a huge loss for Xbox in my opinion, because this is one of the last exclusives that actually meant something to the brand Xbox, and now it's literally just being handed over. And I just really want you to keep in mind that the last Gears of War was released 6 years ago. And it's crazy because in a 6-year time span, all the 3 Gears of War came out. I'm talking Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. Like, they all came out in a 6-year time span. And Xbox hasn't even put the effort in to give us one Gears of War game over 6 years. And you know, it's not just Gears, man. When people think about Xbox, they think about Halo, the franchise that damn near built Xbox from the ground up. Now, obviously, they released Halo Infinite in 2021, but man, it just felt so hollow. And of course, it had potential because it was Halo, but it was launched really half-baked. What once felt like a flagship franchise now feels like an absolute afterthought. They did Halo so dirty, man, and who knows why they would do such a thing. Well, I mean, I guess if I think about it, it was probably the money and investments that played a huge part, and that's kind of what's corrupting Xbox when you really think about it. You know, it's the money. So between Halo being left behind and Gears being ported over to the competition, it really makes me wonder, like, what is Xbox anymore? You know what I mean? And I know the console wars ended years ago, but it honestly feels like Microsoft isn't fighting PlayStation anymore. It feels like they've just moved on, and their real plan is to make Xbox more of a service than a console. You know, Games Pass on your phone, on your PC, even on your TV. They literally want it everywhere. They want it to be like Spotify or a Netflix. And again, as a business move, this makes sense. Subscription models mean reoccurring revenue, and the customers do not own a thing. And putting it on more devices means more potential users. And it sounds corny, but what gets lost in that strategy is the soul of what Xbox was. Feels like there's really no heart in the approach, just reach, like they just care about reaching as much people as they want. And I really did love Xbox back in the day, man, and the consoles in particular, but now it just doesn't feel like home anymore. Xbox sort of feels like a middleman, like a placeholder, a way to access a service that at this point you can get almost anywhere. And you know, I'm not a PlayStation fanboy at all. I've purchased all the consoles except for a PS5 and played the main titles, but I would not consider myself a fan. But I've got to give them credit. They sort of picked their lane and stuck to it, which sort of feels like big budget cinematic single player games. And you know, that's been their identity for over a decade now, and they've delivered time and time again. You know, God of War, Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us, Final Fantasy, probably even more. They all just feel hella polished, focused, and curated. And you compare that to the first party titles on Xbox, they just don't match up. It really felt like PlayStation built a bunch of games to showcase the hardware. And I don't know, I'm not even a PlayStation player, but it feels like when a PlayStation exclusive drops, it feels like an event. Like there's a build up and a payoff, and usually a high bar of quality. And when you look at Xbox, like realistically, what is their lane? It's hard to even tell anymore. Like, yeah, you might get a decent Games Pass drop on day one. And don't get me wrong, it can be great value, but that's kind of the subscription service, man. You don't own the game. And if I want to boot up a certain game 30 days later, unless I fork over another $25, it's not possible, because I need to pay for the subscription to access it. And like, I can't even hold on to these games for the future. Like, I'm literally still holding on to over 100 Xbox 360 games in physical form. And you look at today's time, like how they just dropped the Elder Scrolls remaster, which was funded by Xbox. I can't even buy a physical copy of that to play years down the line. I always need to be connected to internet, and there's just so many issues that come with it. And the crazy thing is, like, that's not even exclusive to Xbox either. I can get that on PlayStation or PC if I wanted. So it's really starting to make me think, like, what's the point of owning an Xbox? Like, what exactly am I buying into? What exactly are these people paying $800 for? Like, if the next big Xbox exclusive is going to land on PC one day and a year later wind up on PS5, like, where's my loyalty supposed to come from? Because when you invest into a console, it's not just about, like, the specs or the monthly deals. It's kind of about the experience and legacy, feeling like the brand you chose actually values you as a player, not just another subscriber on a spreadsheet, kind of like choosing a sports team or something like that. It feels like PlayStation knows what it is and Xbox used to know what it is. Feels like Xbox right now is filled with hella vague promises, delayed releases, and games that feel like they're made for everyone but no one at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. And if everything's going to be available somewhere else anyway, why should I stay loyal to the one platform that keeps offering less and less only to charge more? But yeah, man, Xbox is dying out, and it's really sad to see because I've been with them for so long. So yeah, let me know if you're still playing Xbox in the comments, or if I'm one of the last surviving Xbox players, because it feels like everyone left Xbox for PC or PS5 years ago. and I've just stuck with it just because my main account's on there. And I really just can't let go of the gamer score. It sounds weird, but it really sucked that all my memories would just disappear if I didn't go with Xbox. Like, half the reason I like starting a new game is because I can build up the achievements, but that's literally the last thing that's keeping me holding on to Xbox. Otherwise, realistically, PC is just the way to go. I'm done ranting though, man. I don't usually talk about gaming sort of stuff, but if you like this, make sure you leave a like. As always, all my links are in the description. That being my Twitter, my streaming platforms, my Instagrams, and my clothing brand Memory Faded. That if you're an old school COD fan, we got some sick stuff up there that you'd like. Anyway, that's it from me. It's been Once Faded. Deuces.